Now, Jess is from Huntington's, Australia, and she is an OT. She's going to be talking to us now about some of the group homes here in South Australia, but really about how we can make the client our centre of attention when it comes to making decisions, and you know what goes on in group settings as well. So would you please give Jess a huge round of applause?
Thanks everybody, welcome. Going to change the pace a little bit from all of that wonderful information we had about the trials and kind of relax things a little bit more of a casual vibe. Obviously my name is Jess, I'm an occupational therapist. I have, unfortunately my colleague Deb was going to be presenting today, but she is not here. So we have the beautiful Daryl and Chris, they're my co-presenters today. And what I want to talk to you today about is what we do here in South Australia, meaningful engagement, and kind of what Huntington's Australia is all about. Do you guys want to say a quick hello before we get started?
I'm pleased. I'm very happy to be here.
What about you, Daryl?
I'm very happy to be here.
And we're so happy you guys are here. So as every presenter has already kind of touched on, it's just so nice to look out in the crowd and see so many of our beautiful community members here. You guys teach us so much about Huntington's, the lived experience, and you know, without you, we wouldn't be here, and so we're so grateful that you're here and supporting us. So let me get started. So what we do here at Huntington's Australia, a bunch of different things really. We have quite a few support groups. So specifically in South Australia, we have Coffee & Co, which is our fortnightly group. It's been running for a number of years. Massive turnout, massive kind of variety of clients that we see. And it's just like kind of our social community vibe. We've also started this year a social hub. So that's for people under 35 years old who potentially are gene positive, they have Huntington's in their family, they can be carers, so we offer support for them as well, a new group to us. We run carer support, we have an informal kind of networking that we do with them, but then we've also got formal groups that we do. We've got a great one coming up in June, so all your carers out there, we're doing a massage, we're going to have a little presentation, so please come along. We also run support coordination and allied health professional in-services, educating you guys around Huntington's, sharing the knowledge, and also trying to build a really nice network here in Adelaide for providers who know Huntington's and can work with us. In WA, we've also got the Day Centre, which is a similar program to Coffee & Co. And then all around the country, we also have other groups. And then my role is also around community engagement, advocacy, going to see you guys in your homes, offering support that might be needed. We do a lot of education for service providers because Huntington's is quite a rare disease, so knowing how to kind of, you know, have that resource available to you is something really important to us. Obviously, we do touch on NDIS support, trying to tackle the beast of the NDIS, and then we also make referrals to local providers. So I just want to ask the crowd, when I say meaningful engagement, does anyone have any thoughts of what immediately pops into mind, what that might mean to you? And don't be shy. Anyone? What do you think, Daryl?
Also,
Okay, you go.
also,
What do you think, Daryl, around engagement and what that means to you?
behind
Yeah? Maybe we'll come back to that one. All right, well, I've got a couple of different thoughts. So when I think meaningful engagement, I think it's around doing the things that you want to do. It's about inclusion and being part of a community. It's about interacting with your fellow peers in a nice way that's suitable for you. Participating in different activities. Choice and independence. So how am I going to actually spend my time during my day? Do I get a choice in what that looks like? Also, making every day your best day. And then lastly, I feel like meaningful engagement is really around a shared experience and relationship with others and what that actually looks like. The World Health Organization actually does have a definition. So we'll read that out so we can kind of digest that. So meaningful engagement is respectful, dignified, and equitable inclusion of individuals with lived experience in a range of processes and activities within an enabling environment where power is transferred to the people, valuing lived experience as a form of expertise and applying it to improved health outcomes. A lot of big words to digest there, but effectively making sure that we're being respectful and including others. Our groups that we run here, we try to look at a model of care, which is the PEO. So I'm not sure if there's any other OTs in the room, but this is something that we are highly educated on during our university. So it's around looking at the interaction between the person, the environment, and their occupations, and how that can look to improve increased occupational performance, increased ability to do what you need to do during the day. So what this effectively means is, how can we kind of support the person within their environment to complete the things that they want to do? The person isn't just the physical person, it's the cognitive, the emotional, the social, and the spiritual dimensions as well. That also includes life experiences. Sure. That's not touch screen. That's okay. The occupation kind of refers to the different tasks that you want to do during your day. And then thank you. And then obviously your environment is where you actually are and how all of those combining factors interact to allow you to do the things you want to do during the day. If we think about barriers to engagement in the Huntington's community, I think that there's different barriers according to what your role is within the community. So I've listed out a few barriers here for service providers, and this is obviously not extensive. There's a lot of different things at play. And I really encourage any of you guys, if you've got any additional thoughts, to put up your hand and we can have a chat about them. But one of the things that I've really learned since working with Huntington's Australia is just how limited understanding is of Huntington's, how it manifests, how to support people. And I think that's because it's quite a rare condition. I certainly know when I was in university, I never heard of Huntington's disease. We hear Parkinson's, we hear Duchenne's, we hear a whole bunch of different neurological conditions. We'd never hear about Huntington's. So it's not until I took this role that I really started working with the community and really knowing that there's actually quite a lack of understanding. I think another barrier is around the approach to holistic care and how diverse and multifaceted it needs to be. It's not just a one-size-fits-all for everybody. We've got to look and we've got to be flexible and dynamic about the way that we're helping people within the community. Also, as a service provider, how do you prioritise clients' needs when people have such diverse and significant needs? What do you focus on? Do you focus on the physical manifestations? Do you look at how to support people's emotional regulation? What is it that you're actually going to focus on, and in the time in your day, how do you prioritise that? Funding. We all love the NDIS. Funding is definitely a barrier because people within the NDIS, they don't understand, as the Minister said earlier, they don't understand how complex Huntington's is, and just because one day looks a certain way, the next day it could look completely different. The NDIS does not really capture that information, so our funding is quite often less than what it needs to be. And then I guess the last thing from a service provider perspective, which I've kind of already touched on, is that the functional deficits associated with Huntington's disease do really present differently. Day to day, people can be one way, the next day it can look a different way. So having a really flexible approach and being able to be on the ball, linking in with all of the providers, working as a team, is quite challenging. Does anyone have any other thoughts as a service? Is there any service providers in the room? Do you guys have any other thoughts around some barriers for working with people with Huntington's?
Just so we can get this on our online platform.
So sorry. Hello, I'm new to the community, so I didn't want to completely whoop when you called out for OTs. But yeah, whoop, I'm an OT. No, I think probably one of my biggest challenges when I'm working with my clients and families is keeping the team known to everyone and making sure that everyone knows who's part of that network. We're all spokes in a wheel around a person and a family, and if there's anything that, you know, whether it's in the education, whether it's in keeping accountable over time, whether it's tracking the changes over time from a, you know, a palliative perspective, or whether it's making sure that the key themes and visions that a person wants for their care and the conduct in their daily life. Probably that's the biggest one that I find is I'm banging on about. I get the most positive responses from and feedback from everyone, not just my clients and their families, but from the providers and the clinicians themselves going, oh, that's so good, I'm so glad that you've got that information, and another person's got a bit of their expertise, and everyone's talking in the same room. And then if we expand that out again and look not just within a sector, but across sectors. So making sure that the medical team is also communicating through, say, a support coordinator who's communicating and networking in with the disability team, and then making sure that the community supports aren't forgotten either, so that families who are on this journey as well aren't left behind. So
Yeah, great
that's
point.
probably the biggest one for me.
Yeah, communication's so challenging. Yeah, thank you. Especially when we've got our clients living in a range of different kind of, love the support, range of different environments. They're not just all in SDAs with NDIS. We've got clients in nursing homes. They're just all over the place. So it is tricky maintaining that communication for sure. Anybody else here, a service provider, that had anything they wanted to bring up they find challenging? If not, that's okay. All right, what about some barriers to engagement for people with Huntington's and their carers? And you guys are going to be a wealth of knowledge. You are living the journey, so I'm happy to have your feedback. These are some things that I have put together from my understanding and my experience working with you guys. There's a lot of social stigma for people with Huntington's, and I think that comes from people not actually really understanding the people and the manifestations of their symptoms and how that kind of looks and works in a normal sort of social situation. There's obviously a self-perception of people who are symptomatic. They're changing, things are changing for them. Their self-identity is changing. So sometimes that can create a barrier in that your confidence just isn't there. You do have a bit of a loss of self-identity, and maybe that's not a loss of self-identity, it's just a change in who you used to be to who you are now. It can definitely, I see in the groups, it can be quite challenging for people to come along to the groups when their symptoms are progressing, just because they can't quite socialise in the way that they would like to. There is a lot of grief associated with functional decline as things change over time. There is that grief for the person as well as their carers. I think also something that I've really become aware of is our community is actually quite small. We are small, but we are fierce. But finding your little pocket of community when you live in rural South Australia, who was around, who can we lean on? Obviously Huntington's Australia, but we are growing, and not everyone is connected with us. So I think that the small pockets of community can sometimes create a bit of a barrier to engagement because we're trying to find our community, but we just don't know where they are. There's also a significant amount of burnout for people with Huntington's. The amount of medical appointments and the amount of things are being pulled here, there and everywhere. And that's tiring. I think it's important to acknowledge that. So you guys do an amazing job at showing up and bringing the guys along to group and stoking that sense of community with them, because I think it would be remiss of me to say that there's no burnout associated with being a carer for someone with Huntington's. Do you guys have any other sort of thoughts around that you wanted to share with the group? And it's okay if not. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, aren't I? Okay, so we've talked about barriers. How do we support engagement? What do we do? How do we get people together? How do we create these meaningful opportunities for people? I think obviously one of the most important factors that immediately pops to my mind is creating an environment that is supportive of a range of accessibility needs. Not everyone with Huntington's is able to walk into a room. We do need to look at access, what that looks like. We have to be really careful when we're planning different activities. Think about the environment, make sure that it's going to fit, and that fits within that PEO model of care. I think it's really important to also understand your population, who you're working with, what their presentation of Huntington's is, grouping them together in an appropriate way so that they feel supported and like they want to participate. And that kind of flows on to the next. Considering the group dynamics, are we supporting a young group of people who have newly been diagnosed or new on their journey versus people who have been around for quite a number of years and they want to just have a little chat and a coffee? What does that look like? What does your group want? How do we kind of support you? Ask them. In South Australia, we're constantly fielding questions from the guys. We're surveying them. What do you want to do? How do you want to spend your time with us? And I think sometimes the meaningful engagement, that can kind of be lost in that we don't want to make decisions for you. We want to empower you to be able to make your decisions. And what is it that you would like to do? We want to build community around you. How can we help you to get there? And that's also obviously my next point, collaborating with the clients and the caregivers, making sure that we are asking you, we're putting in place protective factors to make sure that you're coming along to group and you're working with the community in a way that feels really good to you. Obviously, supporting engagement, work with us at Huntington's Australia. There's lots of new faces to me here in this room, lots of familiar faces as well though, but Huntington's Australia, we are here to support you all and we want to make sure that all of you guys are at the forefront of our heads. So in South Australia, we have a group that I touched on earlier called Coffee & Co. It is long-standing. I want to say, 8, 10, 12 years, something along those lines. We've got some beautiful members, like I said, in the audience today. It's a really, really great group. I can't take credit for how where it's come from, but I can take credit for where it's going. And I feel like we've got goals and future direction and we've got a really nice little network going on. We're also always growing, so anyone who is wanting to come and join us, please come and see me at some point today. I'd love to kind of link in with you. But how we kind of run Coffee & Co. to set ourselves up for success. We do screen all of our new community members for suitability. We do have a vibe that we like to keep to. We want to make sure that we're bringing in community members that are going to really enjoy their time with us. They're going to be part of the community in a nice way. We do collaborate with all of our group members, like I said, on future direction and what we want to do with the group. Of course, environmental risk assessments, every sort of outing that we go and do. We do also make sure that we've got everyone's mealtime management plan so we can be cognizant of what everyone's needs are. We do offer in Coffee & Co. a shared lunch, so we want to make sure that that's appropriate for everybody based on their needs. Deb and myself, we do monitor also the physical needs of our group members just to make sure that everything's chugging along okay. Like I said, I'm an OT, Deb's a physio, so we do link in with the wider group and support networks of our clients to make sure, we noticed that Daryl's seating looked a little bit different today. Do you think we could put in place some strategies? So we do that as well in the background. We've always got 2 group leaders to facilitate all of our groups just to make sure that one of us can be kind of, running around and doing the group, and then the other one can be face-to-face with our clients, making sure that it's a really nice time with them. And we do our best to maintain close relationships with all of our group members. We've kind of created this ethos for Coffee & Co. It's basically our future direction, our goals, what we want to do with the group, and what our aims are really. So if we kind of just read it out together, we exist in order to provide a supportive, inclusive environment for all individuals affected by Huntington's disease and for those who care for them. Coffee & Co. is not just about people who are gene positive with active symptomology. We're also there for carers, we're there for family members. Anyone who is touched by Huntington's is welcome. We do regular gatherings, including engaging conversations, shared activities, educational sessions and community outings. We aim to foster connection, reduce isolation, and then promote well-being. So overall, our mission is to create a safe and respectful space where everyone feels valued, understood, and is never alone. And I feel like we do a pretty good job of that. I have a couple of videos coming up. I'm hoping that the audio is going to work. We've done a couple of different little interviews with some of our community members. So we'll see how this goes. I'm just going to go to the next slide. Here's Chris.
Can we get names up?
Okay.
Let's start with you in the middle.
I'm Chris Warren, and I've been coming to Coffee and Co. 8 years.
And Chris, do you have a favourite thing about Coffee and Co?
I like all the chocolate.
You like all the chocolate. And who else do we have?
And I'm Carmen, I'm Chris's wife, and I've been coming to Coffee and Co for about 8 years. And what I love is all the friendships that are made at the group.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Tay. I'm Chris's support worker. I've been here for about 1 year.
Perfect. Well, thanks, guys.
So I've just inserted a few little clips. Chris is our resident smiley demon. He's got a great smile on him. He features in a lot of our posts on Facebook as well, because he does have quite a ravishing smile. So we've done quite a few things. This was taken at Mount Lofty. We did a little group Easter activity, hence the bunny ears. But here's Chris and a few of the different outings over the years. Next we have...
Hi,
John.
guys. Can we get started with what your names are?
And so it's Daryl and Joe.
Daryl and Joe. And how long have you guys been coming to Coffee and Co?
A long time. Daryl's been coming, I think, probably about 7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years. Does that sound right, Daryl? And why do you like coming to Coffee and Co?
I could wake up early in the morning.
You do wake up early in the morning for Coffee and Co. You're very excited, aren't you?
What's your favourite thing about Coffee and Co, Daryl?
I like it. Strange around here, not there.
You like... we were talking about it earlier and you said you like the friendship.
You like the friendships? Yeah, you like the dancing too, don't you, Daryl?
And the music.
And music.
Good,
The
good.
microphone day. Singing with the microphone. Karaoke.
Yeah.
He's a karaoke king. All right, thanks, Joe and Daryl.
Okay, thank you.
Down in the bottom here is Daryl in his talent show. He gave us a great performance, karaoke. I can't remember the song, but I know it was great. And then Joe and Daryl up at Fringe Festival.
Hi, guys. Who do we have here?
Anna Mark.
And how long have you guys been coming to Coffee and Co?
When it first started, we've been at the door when it opened first. For years.
Anne's mum used to come to the original Coffee and Co years ago, before it was Coffee and Co.
Nice.
And they used to have lunches.
Perfect.
Families.
And what do you guys like about Coffee and Co? Why do you come?
How? Because of friendliness and that we can bring our friends and feel comfortable around other people with Huntington.
It's the social aspect of it.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
People, like-minded people with the same problems.
Good job, guys. All right, thank you very much.
There's a very spooky Anne and Mark at a Halloween party last year, and beautiful Anne up at Fringe Festival.
Good morning. Who have we got here?
My name's Daniel Krubashenko.
Nice to meet you, Dan.
Nice to meet you.
And you come to our Coffee and Co sessions. How long have you been attending?
I have been attending for 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts so far?
So far, so good. It's really good to socially to talk to people with it, and just people with knowledge on it.
Yeah. You don't think Jess and I are too crazy?
You guys are really nice, and yeah, it's good to have you guys.
And we've done some fun things, haven't we?
You guys have done some fun stuff.
What's been your favourite thing that we've done so far?
Well, probably I think we had dinner one time, and we went. And I think I had 3 meals.
Oh, that would have been Christmas lunch.
Yeah,
Yes.
We did, the Christmas lunch.
Yeah.
And caught up with everyone. And
recently we went to a Fringe event, didn't we?
We went to a Fringe event.
Tell us about that?
Really, really good. really enjoyed it. I've never been to the French before, so there you go.
And we saw a virtual reality show, didn't we?
Yes,
So
we did.
you had your goggles on. And where are we today?
We are in Mount Lofty House. Got close enough to it.
Botanic Gardens, yeah.
Botanic Gardens.
Yeah, having a look around.
Having a look around, yeah.
And we did have an Easter egg hunt.
We did have an Easter egg.
Show us your stash, Dan.
I've got stashed it.
There we go. All right, thanks for the chat, Dan.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
See ya.
So I just want to say thank you to all of our beautiful members who agreed to our last minute put them on the spot, answer our questions in a rapid fire succession. They did great. Chris and Daryl are no stranger to the spotlight though, are you guys? So well done, Dan and Anne as well. Thank you so much. So I hope that those kind of little interviews give you a little bit of a feel for the vibes at Coffee & Co. It is about connection, it is about community, coming together. Like Anne said, being able to be around people who are facing the same challenges. And Deb and I are just in the background making sure that we're supporting that to be a really great opportunity for them. Did you have something you wanted to say? What did you want to say?
I just say that I like coming here. I wake up, I love it so much to come here.
We know you love it, Daryl. Daryl's always got his "he wants more Coffee & Co" protest signs going on.
Oh, how about that? I love it coming here. I trouble sleeping. I get so bad coming here.
You have trouble sleeping because you get so excited to come along. And we love to see you, Daryl. One fun fact about Daryl is he's got about 1,500 records. He's a DJ here in Adelaide, and he tells us every Coffee & Co.
How's it?
Great job, Daryl. Thanks so much for sharing with us. Chris, did you want the opportunity to say anything?
Just it's a lovely spot. Lovely spot.
It's a lovely spot. Thank you. We love having you come. All right, here is our contact information. If any of you guys are thinking, wow, Coffee & Co sounds amazing, I've got a client who wants to come along, please email us. Get in contact with us. Deb and I are around. We're quite friendly. So we would love to get to know you guys. And also, please, after this, come up to me and have a conversation. I would love to chat with you guys. So that's our contact information. Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask? Any other thoughts they would like to share with the group around engagement for people with Huntington's? Come on.
Thank you. Just going back to the barriers for people with Huntington's, I find there's a big gap with GPs. Lots of them have never had anything to do with Huntington's, and they'll actually tell you that. You know, they went through medical school and didn't ever see anyone. So that's a bit of a gap because, you know, we have our neurologists, psychiatrists, social workers, yes, and then there's allied health, of course, and then there's this big gap because, you know, obviously Chris has to go to the GP to get scripts and things, but it's not very holistic. It's like, oh, here's your script, see you later.
Yeah.
I mean, do you agree? Yeah.
I would agree with you too, Carmen. And I feel like that's where the education that Huntington's Australia is really trying to step up and make sure that people are aware of Huntington's, how it presents, and what we can do to support those GPs, because I agree with you. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else have any thoughts or questions? Oh.
Thanks, Monica. Thank you, Jess. When you spoke about screening for suitability for new members joining Coffee & Co, I feel like that's a really important part of ensuring you keep that vibe of a group. But how do you navigate those conversations with families if they might not quite be ready to join Coffee & Co, or they're not where you want them to be at? How do you navigate that situation?
So that's a really great question. I think up till this point, Coffee & Co has been the number one thing that we offer here in South Australia. Now we're expanding and we're creating different groups, and we are able to look at, okay, these guys potentially don't fit within what Coffee & Co, what we do, and the group members there. How can we support them? Are there other people in the similar situations? Can we create opportunities for them to kind of participate? So I think that was kind of a bit of a crux as to why we've created our social hub for younger people, our carers group, because coming along to Coffee & Co, it doesn't fit everybody, but how do we make sure that we are supporting as much of the community as possible? Having those conversations around, maybe not right now, but here's what we've got coming up for you. Yeah.
My question's pretty simple, but it's an important one for providers and families. Is there a cost to Coffee & Co?
There is not.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, how do you support people in regional areas?
That is also a great question. Currently, we're looking at different pockets. So we work quite closely with the girls, the ladies at Flinders, in identifying those kind of rural areas that we don't actually service at the moment, seeing where the need is, and we're putting in place plans to try and get out there a lot more. I think historically we haven't done a great job of that. However, it's definitely in our future plans what we would like to do a lot more.
I'll just add to that, that Huntington's Australia is wide and vast, and remote service delivery is always going to be a challenge for us. One thing that we've gotten pretty good at, I think, particularly post-COVID, is offering remote service delivery. So we offer non-clinical counselling, we can do training, we can do all of these things online, on the phone, so that no matter where you are, you're able to access our supports.
Thank you so much. One last one in the back.
Thank you. Also an OT here as well. Kind of off the back of the question about the people that aren't suitable for Coffee & Co, I certainly have experience with clients that, because of those barriers you talked about, are so disengaged from, day-to-day activities, or even not in a place to be able to come up with ideas about what they might like to do in their day-to-day life, really don't want anything to do with providers at all, or much. Do you have any advice or support that you guys offer, say, clinicians? Because often, so like in the NDIS space, it's us that are kind of the people going in and trying to engage. Any advice on engaging those people?
So I would say, first of all, your experience is common, so don't feel like you're alone with your client. So Deb and I do also, if you wanted to, you could email us. We can come out and we can support you. There are a couple of clients who aren't ready to engage in a group setting with us. However, they're very happy to come into the office, chat with us, and then we can kind of have those conversations with you. So you guys are welcome to come into the office, and we can have those conversations. We can also meet you with your clients in the home as well. So if that's something that you would like, you can definitely email us and we can do that. But around how to engage them, look at different options and that kind of thing is tricky. It is really tricky. Being an OT in the NDS space as well, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't have a miracle answer, but I do say come in, work with us, get to know us, and we can be a bit of a sounding board for you too. One more? No,
Hi. Just off the back of that, my brother is one of those ones that is quite difficult to engage, and he has apathy, and he doesn't really like to join in with a lot of things. So I think it's important that if you have a loved one that is in that similar stage, that the carers and the people that are around them, they don't have to necessarily engage or get them out. I think my brother's quite happy doing what he's doing, but he's still there and he can understand everything. He's still present even though they can't respond like you and I. And I think even just being in the room with them, even if you've got your laptop and you say, oh, Josh, I need to do this, I've got this assignment to do. Can you help me finish this, Josh? And just being present with them in the room, even when they're not engaging, I think is helpful,
Yeah,
them.
it's shared time, absolutely.
It's shared time with the person in together, and you know, we put a dartboard in my brother's room. A magnetic one, not a. Sorry, Nick. No. And the, you know, the guys hopefully just go in there and, you know, have a game and throw some darts and say, "Oh, Josh, you know, look at this. You know, help me win this. Help me get the main score." And he's not necessarily engaging verbally, but he might have a little smirk or a little smile. So they don't necessarily have to all go out for coffee. You know, I don't think Josh has been out of his care facility for years, and that's not for want of trying, you know, and the staff are wonderful and they're always trying, but yeah, I think it's important that there are other options.
Absolutely.
If you feel trapped in that regard.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I think we are running a little tight on time, and these guys do want to say one little quick farewell to everybody, but I will be around. If you have more questions, please come up to me. That's totally okay. All right, Daryl, quick little 2 cents.
Thank you for coming here and rock and roll, rock and roll.
Rocking and rolling, rocking and rolling.
Good to good to speak.
Thanks so much for sharing with us, Chris. Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.